Hello dear students, myself Mrs. Rajeshri S. Naik from BYK College of Commerce, Nasik welcomes you on our online lecture series arranged by Gokhale Education Society, Nasik. In the first online lecture, we have studied meaning and definition of economics, introduction of microeconomics, definitions of microeconomics and scope of microeconomics. And in the second online lecture, we are going to study features of microeconomics. Content of today's presentation is features of microeconomics. It comprises of the following points. First, study of individual units. Second, price theory. Third, partial equilibrium. Fourth, based on certain assumptions. Fifth, slicing methods. Sixth, use of marginalism principle. Seventh, analysis of market structure. And eighth, limited scope. The first feature of microeconomics is study of individual units. Microeconomics is concerned with the microscopic, means in-depth study of economic behavior of individual units like households, firms, industries, and markets. In my first video lecture, we have studied the meaning of microeconomics and that microeconomics deals with a small part of the national economy. Microeconomics is the study of the behavior of small individual economic units like individual consumer, individual producer, individual price, etc. For example, a study of economic behavior of certain households in the city of Mumbai with respect to buying pattern. Again, listen the example. A study of economic behavior of certain households in the city of Mumbai with respect to buying pattern. What they buy is products or items, means which products they buy more. Why they buy means buying motives. For what purpose they buy. How much they buy means quantity. How much quantity they buy. From where they buy means place or store of purchase. They may buy from shop or malls. And how often they buy is frequency of purchase, means how frequently they buy. The next feature of microeconomics is price theory. Microeconomics deals with determination of the prices of goods and services as well as factors of production. Hence, it is known as price theory. Microeconomics is called as price theory because it is primarily concerned with determination of prices of goods and factors of production. For example, determination of relative prices of cotton, cloth, rice, car, and thousands of other commodities. Microeconomics is also called as price theory because microeconomics helps in determining the factor rewards, means the factor payments for land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur in the form of rent, wages, interest, and profit respectively. The next feature of microeconomics is partial equilibrium. Microeconomics makes partial equilibrium analysis. Microeconomics is based on the assumption ceteris paribus, which means other things being equal or constant. Equilibrium is the balance between two factors. Microeconomics analysis deals with partial equilibrium, which analyzes equilibrium position of an individual economic unit, individual consumer, individual firm, individual industry, etc. And based on these assumptions, we try to establish the relationship between two variables. For instance, the law of demand. The law of demand states other things remaining the same. Now here other thing means what? Income of the consumer, taste, habit, preferences of the consumer, prices of complementary goods or the prices of substitute goods, etc. So other thing remaining the same, the quantity demanded of a product is inversely related to its price. That is, more is demanded at a lower price and less is demanded at a higher price. In a partial equilibrium, we assume that other things are constant, but in general equilibrium, we assume that other things are not constant. In general equilibrium, everything depends on everything else. Next feature of microeconomics is based on certain assumptions. Microeconomics begins with the fundamental assumption other things remaining constant, ceteris paribus, such as perfect competition, laissez-faire policy, pure capitalism, full employment, etc. Microeconomics assumes laissez-faire policy, pure capitalism, full employment, perfect competition, etc., which do not exist in reality. Also, most of the theories are based on ceteris paribus assumption, means other things remaining constant. Now, about these assumptions. What do you mean by laissez-faire policy? It is a policy of minimum government interference of the economic affairs and activities of individuals and society. In a very, very simple language, we can say that minimum interference of the government. Then pure capitalism. It is a free private economic system that allows private individuals to plan, produce and trade without government interference. Means fully profit oriented system. Full employment. It is the condition in which virtually all who are able and willing to work are employed. The highest amount of skilled and unskilled labor that can be employed within an economy at any given time. And perfect competition. It is the ideal form of market, but it is very difficult to realize the above conditions practically. Thus, perfect competition is an imaginary concept. Next feature of microeconomics is slicing methods. Microeconomics uses slicing method. It splits or divides the whole economy into small individual units and then studies each unit separately in detail. Microeconomics splits the economy into small individual units and then studies each unit separately in detail. Thus, it is said that microeconomics uses slicing method. See the picture. Here, we assume that the whole apple indicates the whole economy. And when it is sliced into small units, then each slice studied separately is known as slicing method. Another example of slicing methods. Slicing method is the study of individual income out of national income, or the study of individual demand out of aggregate demand. The next feature of microeconomics is use of marginalism principle. Microeconomics uses the principle of marginalism. Marginalism means the amount of change resulted by the additional unit, that is marginal unit in the total. The concept of marginalism is the key tool of microeconomic analysis. The term marginal means change brought in total by an additional unit. Marginal analysis helps to study a variable through the changes. Producers and consumers take economic decisions using this principle. Very much important line. Producers and consumers take economic decisions using this principle. Now, how this principle is useful for the producer? For example, when a firm decides whether to produce additional output, it considers only the additional or the marginal cost, not the sunk cost. What do you mean by sunk cost? Sunk cost means it is a cost that has already been incurred and cannot be recovered. Now, this principle, how is useful for the consumers? For example, suppose you are the consumer, okay, and shopping for a new car. Suppose you find a standard model that you like, but you are considering additional features. And the features are a sunroof, leather interior, alloy wheels, etc. And as long as the marginal benefit, means greater satisfaction, exceeds the marginal cost, means extra expenses. It is of the additional features you will add them. It is known as marginalism principle, useful for the producer as well as for the consumers. Next, seventh feature is analysis of market structure. Microeconomics analyzes different market structures such as perfect competition, monopoly market, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly, etc. Microeconomics analyzes different market structure. Microeconomics analyzes different market structures means microeconomics examines on the basis of degree of competition, classification of markets, features of various types of markets, etc. For example, perfect competition. The features of perfect competitions are large number of buyers, large number of sellers, single price, homogeneous product, etc. Monopoly. The features of monopoly are large number of buyers and single seller who has complete control over the supply. Monopolistic competition, large number of buyers, large number of sellers, product differentiation, close substitutes and selling cost, etc. So monopolistic competition is a realistic form of market. Oligopoly, a market which is shared by a small number of producers or sellers. Next feature of microeconomics is limited scope. The scope of microeconomics is limited to only individual units. It does not deal with the nationwide economic problems such as inflation, deflation, balance of payments, poverty, unemployment, population, economic growth, etc. Microeconomics studies individual economic units and not the whole economy. It does not deal with the nationwide problems like inflation. What do you mean by inflation? Inflation means a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. What do you mean by deflation? Means reduction of the general level of prices in an economy. Balance of payments. The meaning of balance of payment is, it is a statement which records all the monetary transactions made between residents of a country and rest of the world during any given period. In a very simple language, we can say that the systematic record of import and export. A systematic record of the transaction, import and export. Last year, you have studied the meaning of poverty and unemployment. Poverty, the people who are not able to satisfy the basic needs of life. And unemployment is a situation in which people in the age group of 15 to 59, because 15 to 59 is known as the working population group. So, it's a situation in which people in the age group of 15 to 59 years are able and willing to do the work at the prevailing wage rate, but they are unable to get a job. When you see these pictures, you will understand the major problem of unemployment and poverty of our Indian economy. This is the end of my second video lecture. Thanking you.